dealing with something which is today we are dealing with something which is a very new concept, and I'm sure there are many people out of us who have no clarity as to what it is. And trust me, I was one of you people. So if you have any kind of doubt, any kind of confusion, just let me know. I'll just stop there and then clear your doubt. So let me start. The topic for today is scope of artificial intelligence in Indian judiciary. And please turn on your videos, everyone. Thank you. Yeah. So firstly, let me start that what is artificial intelligence? The term artificial intelligence is something which is derived from the term human intelligence. And all of us know that humans have certain kind of IQ level, and artificial intelligence is a term which is derived from that. And it is a broad branch of computer science by way of which they are trying to mimic the behavior of humans. There are certain cognitive abilities which every human has, like ability of learning, ability of problem solving, ability of thinking. All they are trying to develop all these abilities of a human in a machine. So that is how artificial intelligence comes into picture. So it is basically a computer controlled robot which performs tasks which require generally human intelligence. So we have something which can think humanly, which can think rationally, which can act humanly and act rationally, and perform all the cognitive abilities of a human, like learning and problem solving. And so there is a certain kind of confusion as to what is the difference between computerization and automation and AI. However, I would like to clear the difference between all three of them. So computerization is a very basic step of the computer system. Like for example, earlier we used to talk like we used to send letters to each other. However, now we have electronic mails or emails. So that is how computerization happened. Then next step comes up to automation. Automation is literally the first step of artificial intelligence. That is how we entered into the field of artificial intelligence. Automation basically means like, for example, when we book any appointment with our doctor or any restaurant or anything, there is a kind of, yeah, whenever we book any appointment with the doctor or restaurant, they send us a pre-decided message that okay, your appointment has been booked. That is a pre-decided message which is sent to us, and that is how automation works. So machine has certain data which is recorded into it, and there is no kind of learning or no kind of cognitive ability that a automated machine has. However, AI is one step further, and it is something which it is a machine which has an ability of thinking, ability of learning on its own. So automation is a very simple kind of artificial intelligence, whereas AI is one step further, and it is a development of automation into something which is more linked to a human intelligence. So I hope I'm clear with the difference between all the three terms. Now coming up to what are the types of artificial intelligence. So like it is mentioned here, that we can have artificial intelligence by way of different techniques like machine learning, deep learning, symbolic learning, and statistical learning. I'll try and explain all these terms to you later. Now coming up to difference of types of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence can be divided and can be divided on the can be they have different types on one basis of functionality, and the other basis would be on the basis of capability. So firstly, talking about the difference of artificial intelligence on the basis of capability, there one is artificial narrow intelligence, which is something like जिसमें एक particular data हम fix कर देते हैं and वो हमें उतना ही बताता है. Like for example, we have Siri, we have Cortana, we have Alexa. All of these work according to artificial narrow intelligence. They don't use any kind of other technique, but they are assigned a particular task और वो उतना ही task perform करते हैं. Nothing more than that. Then we have artificial general intelligence, which is some kind of artificial intelligence जो बहुत developed है, and something which is as intelligent as a human. But however, इस field में इतना development नहीं हुआ है. But then China made a computer Tianhe 2, which was termed as a supercomputer. But अभी भी ये वाली field, it requires a lot of development. Further development की जरूरत है. Then coming up to artificial super intelligence, this is something almost like a god, something which is more intelligent than a human, जिसका बहुत ही सब कुछ perfect है. However, यहाँ in this particular field, there is no development as of now, and scientists are still trying to develop this particular field of artificial intelligence also. Then the other way of the other basis of difference of a different type of AI is on the basis of functionality. Coming up to reactive AI is something which does not have its own memory. It only responds to a particular kind of task it has been assigned. Like for example, IBM developed this kind of computer, which was a IBM Deep Blue computer, which was a chess player, and it actually यूज टू प्ले चेस अकॉर्डिंगली, एंड उसके टास्क बहुत लिमिटेड होते थे, उसमें डेटा पहले से ही फिक्स किया गया था एंड उसी के अकॉर्डिंग इट यूज टू वर्क. इट हैड नो मेमोरी ऑफ इट्स ओन. जो डेटा उसके ओनर ने, मतलब जो डेटा उसमें फिक्स कर दिया मशीन में, दैट इज हाउ इट यूज टू ऑपरेट, एंड उसका खुद का कोई लर्निंग नहीं था. So that is reactive AI. So IBM Deep Blue can be an example of reactive AI. Then we have limited memory, which uses memory to learn and improve its responses. So like we know that there are driverless cars by Tesla. So that could be example of limited memory. They learn from their own earlier experiences, और जो data उसके अंदर है, accordingly the machine learns on its own. That is called limited memory. Then we have theory of mind, which understands the need of intelligent entities. So like example, there was this robot which was developed by the Hong Kong based company Hanson Robotics by the name Sophia. So जो Sophia robot था, that could come in this category, theory of mind. It could understand the need of other intelligent entities like humans. And then the fourth type of AI would be self-aware. However, self-aware is something which is not yet delved into, because it is a very different field of AI, and इसमें भी बहुत advancement and technological development की जरूरत है. So as of now, we are mainly into reactive, limited memory, and somehow into theory of mind. And when we talk about capability में we are still into artificial narrow intelligence. General intelligence के development हो रही है further. Then, okay, yeah. So firstly, yeah, what are the ways of achieving AI? As I earlier told you, there are different ways of achieving AI. One could be machine learning. Machine learning is something like, for example, when we have to teach a human child as to what is the difference between apple and orange, we try to show him the pictures of apple and orange, or we try to show him the original apple and orange, and they can differentiate as to the color, the size, the shape, and everything. And that's how they know that what is an apple, what is an orange. Similarly, machine learning में we can make a machine learn from all the data we feed into it. In machine learning, we try कि हम सारा data machine के अंदर डाल दें, and that is how machine can मतलब process कर सकती है पूरी information को, and it can learn on its own कि क्या मतलब क्या apple है, क्या orange है, and it can learn the difference between everything. Then one type could be deep learning. Deep learning is something like using neural networks to develop cognitive abilities of प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग. सो इट इज वन काइंड ऑफ मोर डेवलप्ड फील्ड ऑफ मशीन लर्निंग, जिसमें हम डीप लर्निंग टेक्निक्स के थ्रू मशीन कैन लर्न हाउ टू सॉल्व प्रॉब्लम्स एंड हाउ टू लर्न फ्रॉम इट्स पास्ट एक्सपीरियंसेस. देन वी हैव स्पीच रिकॉग्निशन. स्पीच रिकॉग्निशन हो सकती है बाय वे ऑफ हम सिंबॉलिक लर्निंग के थ्रू या स्टैटिस्टिकल लर्निंग के थ्रू स्पीच रिकॉग्निशन भी हो जाती है. एंड विजन लर्निंग कैन ऑल्सो बी डन. विजन रिकॉग्निशन होती है जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल एप्पल के फोन्स में फेस रिकॉग्निशन के थ्रू ही फोन खुलता है. दैट इज ऑल्सो AI एंड विजन रिकॉग्निशन के थ्रू होता है. Then, for example, NLP, the other form is NLP, natural language processing. For example, जब हम emails होते हैं हमारे, तो emails में there is a natural spam detection technique होती है emails में, and they naturally detect spam और उनको delete कर दिया जाता है. So that is how natural language processing works. Then, for example, जो Facebook पे, Twitter पे hate messages delete कर देते हैं, that is also a part of NLP. Then we have robotics, expert systems. Robotics में Sophia could be an example, जो Hanson Robotics का robot उन्होंने बनाया. That is also a way of achieving AI. So examples of AI could be like, for example, whenever we open Google, so वो हमें खुद suggest कर देता है कि क्या open करना है. हम एक word type करते हैं, आगे खुद सब कुछ आ जाता है. That is a kind of that is a part of AI. Then YouTube knows a genre of videos we want to watch. That is a part of AI. Then Google Maps, face detection and recognition. Driverless cars by Tesla, that is the biggest example of AI. Then unmanned weapon systems are and defense also, that is also a part of AI. Then search and recommendation algorithms आ जाते हैं, e-payments हो जाती हैं chatbot के through. Then Starbucks machine learning और natural language process का use करके customers को suggest करता है कि what order they should choose. Then Netflix, Amazon, every kind of a company has been using AI and they have reaped a lot of substantial benefits out of them, and customers को भी AI का बहुत benefit मिलता है, so that they help. AI has been very helpful generally in all these particular features, and there are a lot of other more functions also which are performed by AI, artificial intelligence. Now coming up to how did we come to the term artificial intelligence. So after the World War II, Alan Turing, who helped the Allied forces in the World War II, he raised this particular question that can the machines think, and he developed a test called Turing test, which was to determine the machine's ability to exhibit intelligent behavior equivalent to that of human. The first person, this is just for information, the first Indian or the Asian person to win the Turing Award was Dabala Rajgopal Reddy, who was South Indian. And Stephen Hawking also time and again mentioned that computers can think, and as and when computers could think, and as and when we'll delve into the field of artificial intelligence, it could have apocalyptic effect, because it can totally take over the human life, and सब कुछ उथल पुथल हो सकता है with artificial intelligence coming into the picture. Then the term artificial intelligence was mainly coined by John McCarthy, who was also known as the second father of future father of artificial intelligence. He coined the term artificial intelligence in the year 1956 in his Dartmouth conference, and he named artificial intelligence to be the science and engineering of making intelligent machines, especially intelligent computer programs. Now, India ranks 17 on the Government Artificial Intelligence Readiness Index, and the top 5 countries are hereby mentioned: Singapore, UK, Germany, USA, and Finland. Now, coming up to the main topic, like what is the impact of what can be the impact of artificial intelligence in our legal framework. So I'm sure I gave you some kind of clarity as to the concept of artificial intelligence. Now if we talk about the legal framework, if we can just think about it, that if judges have the option of choosing artificial intelligence, and advocates have the option of choosing artificial intelligence, the whole process of judicial system would be very easy, and there'll be less pendency of cases, and it could be very helpful. तो artificial intelligence की need हमारे judicial system में बहुत important है, and sorry, and जो retired Chief Justice of India है S.A. Bobde, he time and again mentioned that जो artificial intelligence है, it could have large impact, and it could be very beneficial to Indian judicial system. And जो current trend चल रहा है of pandemic, it is very important that such a system should be invoked in our country, should be invoked in our judicial system, so that सब कुछ fast हो जाए, सब कुछ अच्छा हो जाए, research work better हो जाए, and it could help us in varied ways and help the judicial system in varied ways. Research better हो सकती है, and potential cases पता लग सकते हैं, क्या क्या हो सकता है, different types of techniques हैं जो AI use करके हमारी judicial system को काफी better बना सकता है. Then in fact there are a lot of legal tech startups like Spot Draft, Case Mine, etc., which are working, and they are using NLP, or which is one of a way of AI, to make the research procedure better, and वो अपने खुद के सॉफ्टवेयर्स बना रहे हैं to research, ताकि उनका research procedure बहुत improve हो जाए, बहुत fast हो जाए, and वो जल्दी मतलब matters resolve कर पाए. And the first law firm which brought artificial intelligence into our country was Amarchand, who they made this law bot, which is an artificial intelligence robot, and they termed it to be a law bot, which is being used by them for solving and for contract analysis and for review and for actually dealing with matters जो civil nature के हैं. They are very well being dealt by Amarchand through lawbot. Now, how did artificial intelligence come into our judicial system? That is firstly, there was a AI task report which was formatted by N. Chandrasekharan, and he formatted a report as to how artificial intelligence का different aspect in our judicial system कैसे हो सकता है, and what could be the strategy to bring it into our domain. Then there was also a report by Niti Aayog for artificial intelligence for all, and they told us about all the privacy challenges of data protection, etc. Then there was a committee formatted. Then the main step which was taken by the Supreme Court of India was they set up a committee named as Artificial Intelligence Committee in the year 2019, and this was done by Chief Justice of India at that point of time, S.A. Bobde, and he was also the first chairman of that committee. And now, as he has retired, the committee is being headed by Justice L. Nageswara Rao. Now coming up to how the committee, other committee and artificial intelligence committee is working. So sabse pehla step which was taken by the E committee of Supreme Court, which was established in the year 2004. The current head or the chairman of E committee is Justice D.Y. Chandrachud. And pehla project which was launched by them was E-Courts project. The main purpose or the main aim of E-Courts project was computerization of district court, ताकि जो we could shift from typewriter to computer based system, and ताकि जो information है it could be easily available, affordable way में available. Okay. जिसका भी mic on है please off कर लो. Thank you. Yeah. तो मतलब ई कोर्ट्स का मेन एम यही था कि कंप्यूटराइजेशन हो जाए सारे जुडिशियल सिस्टम की, सो दैट इजीली एक्सेसिबल डेटा मिल जाए, कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव हो जाए, रिलायबल हो जाए, ट्रांसपेरेंट हो जाए. Then e-courts के बाद there was Sky Interact, which was also which has been recently launched by the e-committee, and ये अभी भी चल रहा है, it is in process, और वो development कर रहे हैं अभी भी of this particular software. And the main aim of this software is ताकि minimum human touch हो and the judges could access their files and annexures to petitions and computer पे सारे कुछ उनको documents मिल जाएं. Like all the documents related to a case जो judges के पास होते हैं, they could be available on their computer rather than pages or files जो वहाँ पे. All of us have seen कि कितने pages और कितना पेपर का यूजेज होता है इन द कोर्ट. सो उसको कम करने के लिए स्काई इंटरैक्ट वाज लॉन्च्ड ताकि पेपरलेस हो जाए, सारा कुछ कंप्यूटराइज्ड हो जाए. Then there was LIMS, which was a legal information management and briefing system. इसका भी मेन एम यही था that it was a collection of data. जितना भी administrative work और tribunal work का data था, it was collected at one particular place, और वो data सबके लिए available था, and all the different administrative work could be expedited because जितना data easily accessible होगा उतना जो पूरा process है वो fast होता जाएगा. So that is how LIMS was launched. Then there was a National Judicial Data Grid. It is basically a repository of data regarding national repository of data. जो सारे pending cases और जो cases resolve हो चुके हैं उनका content बताता है. There are how many number of cases which are pending, and as of now we have 3.81 crore cases which are still pending in various district and taluka courts of our country. And ये particular information हमें available होती है through National Judicial Data Grid, and it is like an online dashboard. Now coming up to one of this is one of the rules which were initiated by the Bangalore courts, and the name is Model Services Summon Rule 2020, idea of digitization of summon procedure. We all of us know that जो summon procedure है वो 1/4 part form करता है civil suit का, and उसका जो process है it is very lengthy और बहुत time consuming हो जाता है, and काफी सारे issues हो जाते हैं. Like for example प्रॉपर इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं होती डिफेंडेंट की, तब प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है, या फिर फी नहीं सबमिट करी तो कुछ ना कुछ हो जाता है. सो देयर आर लॉट ऑफ इश्यूज जिसकी वजह से डिले इन समन प्रोसीजर हो जाता है. एंड द बैंगलोर कोर्ट्स एंड दिल्ली कोर्ट्स हैव मेड वेरियस रूल्स ताकि ये प्रोसीजर कम हेक्टिक हो सके एंड कम टाइम कंज्यूमिंग हो सके. एंड फॉर एग्जांपल दे अलाउड सर्विंग ऑफ समन थ्रू ईमेल एंड व्हाट्सएप एक्सेट्रा, ताकि समन प्रोसीजर को हम जितना फास्ट कर सके उतना हो पाए. However, तभी भी बहुत सारी problems थी, and that is why Model Summon Service Rules 2020 came into picture. But this is only for Bangalore courts, and इनका main focus था that जो method of collecting information है of for the serving of summons, that should be diversified, and जो method of collection है that should not only be from the plaintiff, but ये collection government database से भी हो सकता है, so that जो information easily accessible है उसका use करा जाए and summon procedure को fast करा जाए. Then ये जो summon storage है that should be done on the High Court website, so that सारा procedure काफी fast और without any interruption हो पाए. Then we had then they also suggested that there should be expanding modes of communication for service. So yeah, so we can have summons being served through different process, like for example download and print हो सकते हैं, they can be summoned through NSTEP. Then they could be on High Court's website, which could be available to everybody. Then they could be auto generated mail with a link to summon sent to a party. So उन्होंने बताया through Bangalore Model Service Summon Rules 2020 that there could be different ways of serving summons, and we could actually help by way of these particular rules to step up the summon procedure और उसको fast बनाया जा सके. Now coming up to one of the most important जो software है that has been launched by the Artificial Intelligence Committee of our country, of the Supreme Court, made by the Supreme Court. So that is SUVAS, which is a short for Supreme Court Vidhik Anuvad software. The main purpose of this particular software is that it basically translates all the judgments and orders of Supreme Court into 9 vernacular languages, so that everybody from each and every part of the country can understand the judgment and unko easy ho jaye to access the information in a better way. So main principle on which this particular software was based on was communication of justice is as important as the determination of justice. तो ये भी AI के through ही बना था, and it was the first foremost step of artificial intelligence in the judicial domain of our country. And SUVAS is being used by Supreme Court, and उनकी सारी judgments को vernacular languages में translate किया जा रहा है through this particular app, through this particular software. Then we have SUPACE, which has come into the picture recently, and ये अभी launch हुआ, and it has been inaugurated on 6th of April 2021. The full form of SUPACE is Supreme Court Portal for Assistance in Courts Efficiency. Main purpose of SUPACE was जो research work है for the judges and for advocate वो काफी easy हो जाए, and S.A. Bobde termed it to be a perfect blend of human intelligence and machine learning. The main aim of SUPACE is to collect relevant fact laws, read case files, manage teamwork, and draft case documents. And it could make the whole procedure of judicial system very quick, and जो pendency of cases अभी prevalent है वो कम हो सकती है through this. So SUPACE function कैसे करता है? So it has 4 major parts, which first one of is file preview. Like for example, any one of us being an advocate, मतलब being an advocate or a judge, हमें information डालते हैं that we want a particular information. Then एक file preview आएगा on this particular software, which could be accessed through a login ID and password. हम एक file वो हमने information डाली and file preview आएगा. File preview will be in a PDF form, and then with the help of chatbot is a type of AI. Chatbot could be like a speech chatbot, or it could be a talking chatbot or a chatting chatbot हो सकता है वो, and we can tell them कि हमें इस पर्टिकुलर फाइल प्रीव्यू में कौन कौन सा डेटा हमें एक्चुअल में चाहिए. लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल व्हाट लाइक इट इज फॉर एग्जांपल दिस फाइल प्रीव्यू इज अ काइंड ऑफ जजमेंट, कोई रीसेंट जजमेंट है उसका पूरा डेटा है, दैट इज अ फाइल प्रीव्यू. देन थ्रू चैट बॉट वी कैन नो कि कौन से फंडामेंटल, लाइक for example, in the chatbot, we can type or we can ask the chatbot to tell us that what are the fundamental principles involved, then what are the issues framed by the court. So through chatbot, we can know that very easily, और वो सारा हमें overview दे देता है of the whole file. Then we have Logic Gate. Logic Gate works like हमें पूरा वो synopsis दे देता है कि क्या क्या हुआ है इस particular case में. मतलब like for example वो हमें issues बता देगा, rules बता देगा, analysis बता देगा, judgment, conclusion, सब कुछ हमें briefly बता देगा कि क्या क्या हुआ है. And notebook is a kind of that particular summary which we have received out of that particular file preview. तो मतलब हमारा जो relevant data हमें उस particular file preview में से चाहिए था वो हमें notebook में एक brief summary के way में मिल जाता है. So that is how SUPACE works, and ये अभी एक experimental basis पे use हो रहा है in Bangalore and in Bombay and Delhi High Courts are using it for experimental basis, and if it works well for them, it could be introduced in other parts of the country as well. So SUVAS and SUPACE have been the main development of artificial intelligence in the Supreme Court as of now, and we are waiting for further development also. Now, talking about implementation of AI in other countries, so European Union is one of the continent which European Union has been using it in different ways, and there are different countries of European Union which have been using it, which have been mentioned here. And जो European Union का there's a European Commission for the Efficiency of Justice, which has time and again mentioned that उन्होंने एक charter बनाया था, artificial intelligence charter, and they mentioned how it is important and how it can be useful to implement artificial intelligence in different countries of European Union. Then one of the most important model would be an Estonia model of European Union, which has been time and again mentioned as to being the best model of implementation of artificial intelligence in the judicial domain. And Estonia model का basic वो था कि they made a robot judge which used to deal with cases relating to small claims and dispute के जो case है उनको deal करता था in a very efficient manner, and now they have resolved a lot of cases through a reward judge, and now they are trying कि जो contract dispute और other civil dispute हैं जो broader aspects हैं जो ज़्यादा claim किए हैं वो भी reward judge के through वो solve कर पाए और उनका decision ले पाए. So reward judge is being very helpful, and Estonia model of reward judge is being used by a lot of countries as an example. Then coming to China. So China has also been using artificial intelligence, and there are 3 courts in China which have been actively using artificial intelligence to resolve dispute. And they basically rely on blockchain evidence. So here I would like to explain the term blockchain. Blockchain basically means, like we all know about cryptocurrency. So cryptocurrency uses blockchain, and blockchain basically means that, for example, we are 4 people and हमारे बीच में different transactions हो रहे हैं, money transactions, like that is how cryptocurrency works, and हमारे बीच में different transactions हो रहे हैं. तो blockchain के through they मतलब हर एक transaction का एक block बनाया जाता है, and हर मतलब जैसे for example 2 लोग का transaction है, that will form one block. देन 2 कुछ और लोग का ट्रांजैक्शन है, वो एक ब्लॉक बनेगा, एंड ये ऐसे करके डिफरेंट डिफरेंट ब्लॉक्स बनते रहते हैं, एंड ऑल ऑफ दीज ब्लॉक्स आर कनेक्टेड टू ईच अदर थ्रू अ चेन, एंड दैट इज व्हाट इज ब्लॉकचेन. एंड जो ये ब्लॉकचेन है, ये जो डिफरेंट ट्रांजैक्शन की इंफॉर्मेशन है, इट इज अ पब्लिक लेजर which is available to the public by way of public key. So there are private key and public key, and I would not like to delve into the deep concept of blockchain, but basically यही है that blockchain evidence could be something like एक पर्टिकुलर केस के एक जो फैक्ट है और जो सारा इंफॉर्मेशन है, दैट कुड फॉर्म वन ब्लॉक, एंड देन डिफरेंट डिफरेंट ब्लॉक्स होंगे, और वो सारे ब्लॉक्स पब्लिक लेजर की फॉर्म में अवेलेबल होंगे on the public domain, and that could be used by courts for the purpose of blockchain evidence. मतलब वो blocks के through information ली जा सकती है by courts, and it has been very beneficial. And one of the main advantages of blockchain evidence is that it is very difficult to hack them, क्योंकि इनको यूज करने का वे बिल्कुल 2 वे में ही हो सकता है. देयर हैज टू बी अ पब्लिक की एंड देयर हैज टू बी अ प्राइवेट की, जो हर इंडिविजुअल की अपनी खुद की होती है, एंड दैट कैन नॉट बी हैक्ड. And that is why blockchain evidence बहुत अच्छा and it has been actively being used by China, and it is very beneficial for them. And one of the first courts of China which used blockchain evidence was Shangyu District People's Court in Shaoxing City, China, which gave its first ever criminal sentence based on blockchain evidence. And there मतलब बहुत सारे reports हैं which say that blockchain evidence के through उनका जो पूरा procedure है वो काफी fast हो गया and काफी अच्छा हो गया. Now coming up to UK. So UK developed this particular software called HART, which is Harm Assessment Risk Tool, and it basically analyzes and predicts that each and every prisoner जो है जेल में, can he recommit the crime? What is the probability of that particular prisoner to recommit the crime? And that is how they decide that what kind of sentencing he should be in and what kind of supervision he could be in. And then the prison people, they can decide as to whether such prisoners should be sent to a rehabilitation program or not. And all of this is decided through HART, that is Harm Assessment Risk Tool. So ये one of the main development रही है of UK in the judicial domain. And then comes that UK के within London maybe they made a software called AI Judge, which used to decide cases relating to torture, degrading treatment, and privacy. And it has been as beneficial, and it has given almost same amount of verdicts as that of judges at the European Court of Human Rights. So it has been very beneficial for London as well, AI Judge, and UK may in total HART was implemented, which is Harm Assessment Risk Tool. Then similarly, USA also made a similar tool, that was Compass, which is Correctional Offender Management Profiling for Alternative Sanctions, which used to predict the recidivism risk of any criminal, which is a risk of recommitting crime. So ये भी similar to HART predict करते थे that what is the risk of that particular offender recommitting a crime, and that is how they used to decide the parole and sentencing decisions of that particular person. But however, in दोनों में there was a major dispute, मतलब major issue with both HART and Compass was that they were considered very racially biased and they used to lead to social inequality, क्योंकि most of the times they considered both HART and Compass, they considered black criminals to be more offensive, and it was considered that black criminals are more likely to recommit rather than white criminals, and that is why it was considered to be racially biased towards black criminals. And बहुत बार ऐसा होता था that they had the system had the data that white criminals ki zyada chances hai to recommit. However, it used to find out that black criminals are more likely to commit such crimes, and they are more likely to recommit crimes, and unka recidivism risk zyada hai as compared to white criminals, and that is why it was very racially biased. Then we had Brazil. Brazil ne Victor, a tool named Victor was launched by them, which used to decide as to what are the important issues which are to be dealt in the court of law, and बस उन्हीं issues से focus होना चाहिए, and the court should not focus on any other issues. And मतलब जो basic framing of issues वाला stage होता है court का, that used to be done by Victor. Now this is UK, UK ka heart, and US ka compass, and Brazil ka Victor. These have been the major developments of artificial intelligence in judicial domain in the world. Then we have Canada. Canada used human mediator ki jagah AI mediator, and they solved a lot of dispute. And Singapore also used AI to transcribe court hearings in a very short time. Then Russia and Mexico had their own robots who could give legal advice to citizens, and they could also aid the judges. Then Austria also had the system of digitization of files. Then Malaysia had the system of used AI for sentencing decisions. Then Argentina and Colombia, they made their own tool called Prometheus, which was used to predict the outcome of cases. And it was that 96% of the times it used to be correct, and it used to also give the information as to about what are the important cases which are the cases which are to be dealt urgently. मतलब वो पहले information बता देता था कि कौन से cases को urgently अभी deal करना है. And similarly, UAE also used the concept of AI for predicting the possibility of settlement of cases. So this is how AI has been dealt in by different countries in the judicial domain. And I hope I have made it clear that what artificial intelligence means. And if any one of you has any confusion as to what I said, they could just ask me right now, like if there is any confusion. And Arsh would deal with the rest of the part, that is scope of artificial intelligence in Indian judiciary. So if any one of you has any confusion, any doubt as to what do you mean by artificial intelligence, you can ask me, because आगे का नहीं तो कोई फायदा नहीं होगा, because concept पता होना चाहिए कि artificial intelligence exactly होता क्या है. So any doubt? Can we proceed, or any one of you has any doubt?
I think you explained it really well. So we are clear. Okay. So I think take 5 minutes break and then start.
Okay.
Okay. All right.